standing on business. I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business.
In Springfield,
Don't push me, ain't Donald Trump trying to grab him by the... Said it was some Haitians, somewhere out in Springfield. Women doing cartwheels.
Have you seen Garfield?
Have you seen Snowball? This about to snowball. I'm about to go off. I can't let this go on. Miss me like an airball. Tell me when my cat is cough it up like a hairball. I gotta tell them if they even put the fingernail on Santa's little helper to turn them to hamburger helper. Somebody better help them, cause I'm going to jail for showing them fellas helter skelter. Usually I'm content, but if you touch my dog, then I'm turning into John Wick. I'm lit. Bird better drop it. If you touch my pet, then I'm pulling up like CrossFit. Gone overseas where they said Hello Kitty, but it ain't there, it's right here in your city. When I turn my back, now the cat goes missing in the where my peoples is at. Does anybody know where he took with now? Cause I heard they putting claws on felines, I'm mad. And my cat disappeared just like Felix the cat. And they got paid back. Thought she was a goner, but the cat came back. If you ain't a pussy cat, say drop that cat. Drop that cat. Drop that cat. Got paid back. Thought she was a goner, but the cat came back. If you ain't a pussy cat, say drop that cat. Drop that cat. Drop that cat.
they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Eat the cat, eat the cat. They're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs. Eat the cat.
Drop that cat.
I'm standing on business. 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 I'm standing on business.
sign my deal, I pay my dues. Affiliated to this paper, I need freedom for my family line. Draw my life design up like fine art. I'm jumping off just an unfamiliar coordinates. Hopped off the porch like I could touch the sky. Red is not one trillion. The ism talk the water out your faucet. Look at me flossing, I'm so wavy, I could change the tide. My intuition sense the hatred in your ways. You imitated, forging lines, claim meaning means that's just to justify. Yeah, right. West side, born maritime. Creole baby, my bloodline. My lungs clouded, my thoughts crowded. Say all I see is these dollar signs. Finna make a play and that sound delay. On mamas, I testify. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Game recognized game. I'm from the Bay, okay. I'm versatile and my slang is different. I'm lane switching percent.
We're not exactly the march of dimes.
Cat peeling with the cast iron, better run for it. Run before I catch you. Niggas out ball it, block it. Trying to stop my blessing. Gamble with your life. Don't bet it, don't bet it. They can't stop my blessing. You do best not to test it. Yeah, you right. Real all in my blood supply. Get ball up top, finna make a play. I cast a lob like I'm Jalen, baby. No co-signer, no co-pilot. They pen pals, my flow designer. My brain signal out of range with it. My palm mission is a dollar sign. If I say it twice and I meant it right.
My brain signal out of range with it. My palm mission is a dollar sign. You no co-signer, no co-pilot. They pen pals, my flow designer. My brain signal out of range with it. My palm mission is a dollar sign.
Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds.
Yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another live stream. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get it cracking, all right? So shout out to everybody who's in the building early. It's good to see each and every one of you. If you can hear me okay and everything looks and sounds good on the screen, please give me a thumbs up or angry face. I mean, a thumbs up or a radiation emoji in the chat. If you cannot hear me or things look and sound bad, please give me a thumbs down or an angry face. While you guys are doing that, I'm going to shout out everybody who is in the building early, all right? Shout out to my man, Carlton Way. What's good with it, bro? Good to see you as always. Shout out to my man, AB Promotions. Y'all see my man, AB Promotions, holding it down for 20 months with the off-rip ducats. Definitely appreciate you, bro. Shout out to Volvo. Shout out to my man, Black Free Thinker. Absolutely. Please make sure you leave a like on both streams. If you cannot find both streams, one of the mods will put the link in there for you. All right. Shout out to my man, We Lit. If you're not subscribed to his channel, make sure y'all go over there and subscribe to my man, We Lit's channel. If one of the mods or We Lit could drop the link in the chat, that'd be great. Shout out to my man, Hurricane IQ, holding it down for 21 months. Definitely appreciate you, bro. Shout out to Black Free Thinker, holding it down for 21 months. Definitely appreciate it. Shout out to my man, Detroit 313. What's good with you, bro? And my man, Carlton, with some off-rip ducats and some little Satoshi nuggets of knowledge. You know what I'm saying? some knowledge Toshis. You know what I'm saying? There's no bad time to buy Bitcoin. That's a fact. If y'all agree with that, throw some money bags in the chat. All right, so we about to talk about some things like we always do. All right, like we always do around this time, right? Title. We're going to get the title out of the way first. XRP, Ethereum, and Bitcoin treasuries. They are institutional FOMO, and cryptocurrency is the future of money markets and 401ks. If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. All right. So what we're about to do is we've heard a lot about the companies that are doing the Bitcoin treasuries, right? We've even heard about companies that are doing Solana treasuries, right? Other treasury assets, XRP and Ethereum. We're going to talk a little bit about the Ethereum treasuries that are popping off tomorrow. We're going to talk about XRP today. And we're going to talk a little bit about some Bitcoin stuff if we get the chance, all right? So let's check this out. Yeah, shout out to AB Promotions like we always do around this time, right? It ain't no fun if the homies can't buy. It ain't no fun if the homies can't buy, right? Guess who's back in the house with a lot of Bitcoin for your mouth, right? So check this out, right? Look at this. Ethereum's price target has shifted to $3,000. Let me ask you guys this question. Let's just keep it a buck, man. Ethereum reminds me of a Cleveland football team quarterback. You know what I'm saying? The expectations are always high, and then nothing. You know what I'm saying? And then nothing. That's why I'm worried about that Sanders boy. You know what I'm saying? I'm worried about that Sanders boy, man. Every time Cleveland puts out some money on somebody, especially on a quarterback get paid, and not a lot of games get won. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, right? Ethereum has a price target. Shout out to Ethereum. That is less than the price that has been for the last couple of years. Shout out to Ethereum. You know what I'm saying? Ethereum price target shifts to $3,000 after SharpLink adopts an Ethereum treasury strategy. All right. So now here's the good thing, right? Let me ask you guys this question. How many people think that it wouldn't be a bad idea when we hear about a treasury asset to have a modest amount of that treasury asset? Why am I asking that? I'm asking that because of this. If there's companies that see these assets as treasury and reserve assets, that somewhat reduces the volatility, right, in theory, and provides a larger potential upside as a result of the massive amount of liquidity that's about to flow into that asset, right? If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. Shout out to Black Free Thinker. Black Free Thinker said, nah, I'm greedy. I ain't got no Bitcoin for no one's mouth. Right. I only got Bitcoin for my wallet. You know what I'm saying? They can't even get no Satoshis. You know what I'm saying? They can't get a Satoshi out of me, right? So now here it says, Ethereum bulls find a reason to go long after SharpLink Gaming reveals plans to form a $425 million Ethereum treasury. Now, I don't think that this is a bad idea when it comes to forming this quote-unquote Ethereum treasury if they buy it strategically. I don't think it's a bad idea to form a Solana treasury if they buy it strategically, right? The reasons why is because of the staking. Staking will provide a lot of liquidity, and staking will provide a lot of interest income. And as long as Ethereum and Solana, in theory, continue to go up, they may not be able to mimic the MicroStrategy's Bitcoin per share action, but they will definitely be able to accumulate value. Now, here's the thing, right? I know that Bitcoin, as a result of the new accounting standards, is allowed to be put on a balance sheet. I'm not sure if Solana or if XRP or if any of these other assets are able to be put on a balance sheet. And it's very important for that to be clear, because if those things are not allowed to be put on a balance sheet, then they may not reflect in the company's total value. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Lehman Lucas. Lehman Lucas says there's not a lot of crypto that can be staked. Yeah, actually, believe it or not, you wouldn't believe this, bro. Actually, there is. There's actually a lot of crypto that can be staked. I'm gonna give you a couple in the comment section. Shout out to the comment section, right? Comment section, drop in the comments all the crypto that you know about that can be staked. All right, so we're gonna run it down the line. You got Ethereum, right? You can stake Ethereum. You got Kronos, right? Crow, you can stake Crow, right? You got Solana, you can stake Solana, right? You got Osmosis, you can stake Osmosis. You got Celestial, you can stake Celestial, right? You got Casper, you can stake Casper. You can stake Atom, which is actually a really good one to stake. If you ask me, it's at a really good price right now. And the staking rate is 14% most places that you go, right? So you got Atom. Then you got Polkadot, right? Then you got Avalanche. You got Avalanche that you can stake. You got DXDY that you can stake. What else you got? Stacks, right? You stack stacks, and Stacks pays you in Bitcoin, right? Yeah, shout out to Young Nine. Not if you're in California. Yeah, in California, unfortunately, they got some weird laws going on that don't allow for staking. Yeah, you can use Crypto Earn on crypto.com for Cappy. You could use Crypto Earn on crypto.com for Loaded Lions too, right? Now, shout out to Lehman Lucas. On Coinbase, they sell Crow, right? You can actually buy Crow, but you can stake it on crypto.com, right? I think you can also stake it on Vino Finance, right? But you can't stake it on Coinbase, all right? So Coinbase, I think you can stake Avalanche. I think you can stake Tezos. You can stake Solana, Ethereum, Cardano, Polkadot, Atom, and I think that's it. Somebody let me know if I'm wrong. Sui can also be staked on crypto.com. But then a lot of things you can stake from a hard wallet too, from a man, what's the name of the wallet? Man, I can't think of the name of the wallet. The Ledger. Yeah, from the Ledger. You can stake from the Ledger. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of stuff that you can stake. It's a lot of stuff that you can stake. And if you buy stuff at a decent price and stake it, just imagine if you had bought Ethereum at a good price, you know what I'm saying? And you stake in Ethereum. And then now you're getting these percentage bonuses on Ethereum. Really nice. Really nice. You know what I'm saying? So SharpLink Gaming establishes the first Ethereum treasury backed by Ethereum co-founder Joe Lubin. SharpLink will invest $425 million to acquire 120,000 Ethereum. Look, I want you guys to understand. Do you guys see this? Listen, these institutions, shout out to my man Telegram 3 Mo. What's good with it, bro? These institutions are buying these cryptocurrencies, the high-end blue chip cryptocurrencies, like their meme coins. We're going to start off with a 120,000 Ethereum purchase. That is wild. You know what I'm saying? Ethereum futures open interest hits an all-time high of 36.1 billion, with Ethereum price climbing 4.5% on the daily chart. All right. So again, I don't know if anybody took a look at their crypto app that they used yesterday, right? But Ethereum just passed the volume of Palantir. How many people were aware of that? If you guys were aware of that, give me a thumbs up. If you were not aware of that, give me a thumbs down. Ethereum's total market cap, right, just passed the value of Palantir. So you got Bitcoin and you got Ethereum starting to outpace these large companies. All right. It's going to happen more. Other cryptocurrencies are going to do this as well. Solana and XRP are going to be passing these large companies as well. All right. NASDAQ listed SharpLink Gaming announced a $425 million private investment in public equity, acquiring approximately 69.1 million shares at least $8.15 each to establish the first NASDAQ-listed Ethereum treasury company, all right? Treasury company, all right? So I want you guys to understand what's going on here with cryptocurrency, all right? Understand cryptocurrency has evolved to now there are businesses that have a sole business sector of just buying and holding cryptocurrency, right? So if that's a value building strategy that seems to be working for businesses, my question is, if you want to build passive income on the side, what might be something that you're thinking about getting into? Let me know in the comment section. Spearheaded by Ethereum co-founder Joe Lubin, this move mirrors MicroStrategy's successful Bitcoin strategy, which has yielded over $8.2 billion in gains in 2025. All right, see that? This move mirrors MicroStrategy's successful Bitcoin treasury strategy, which has yielded over $8.2 billion in gains in 2025 by leveraging stock and bond sales to acquire Bitcoin. Pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. You know what I'm saying? Former Ethereum core developer and contributor Eric Connor highlighted the bullish implications of SharpLink's move, noting its potential to create a public Ethereum proxy for funds that can't hold tokens directly. That's exactly what a lot of countries and a lot of companies use MicroStrategy stock for. Yeah, you see that? Shout out to AB Promotions. Crypto treasury business. Buy the cryptocurrency and just let it gain value. Now, let me ask you guys this question. If these large institutions are buying up all this cryptocurrency, as the financial system begins to evolve and as the financial system begins to change, where's the money going to be at for, people? Where's the money going to be at, right? Connor emphasized that the acquisition of 120,000 Ethereum, likely to be staked, could lead to supply compression by removing tokens from circulation. All right, now, I want to ask you guys this question, and it's a question about Ethereum. My question about Ethereum is, how much Ethereum is currently on exchanges? Is there a lot? Is there an Ethereum supply crunch that's happening? Somebody let me know. We're gonna talk about that. All right, we're gonna talk about that. But here's my question though. This is the most important question here. Is there an Ethereum supply crunch? Now, why am I asking about that? I'm asking about that because of this. If there's an Ethereum supply crunch, more than likely, if Ethereum is being bought and is being taken off of exchanges, what likely would happen to the price of Ethereum then? Now, shout out to AB. AB says no. Carlton says, I'm not sure. We shall see. Shout out to Lehman Lucas. Lehman Lucas says, no, I don't think so. We shall see. Right? We shall see. What did a good YouTuber say? In order to find out the answer to this question, keep watching the rest of the live stream, right? The Ethereum proponent also pointed to the new narrative fuel this provides, positioning Ethereum as a digital reserve collateral and potentially driving its adoption on mainstream balance sheet through an equity wrapper like SBET, all right? However, crypto analyst Victor cautioned against over-enthusiasm, outlining the risk of leveraging gain from an altcoin still down 19% in 2025. All right, so this is what I was talking about earlier about Ethereum's disappointing price performance. All right, let's celebrate Ethereum despite the fact that it's severely underperforming. You know what I'm saying? This is something that you got to pay attention to. This is something that you got to be aware of. Despite the fact that these companies are large companies, the fact that they're large companies, it doesn't mean much. They're still rookies. They really don't know the cryptocurrency market like we know it, right? They just got a lot of money to play with, right? In Q1 of 2025, Cointelegraph reported a sharp decline in Ethereum network fee dropping to 605,000 from 2.5 million in just 2 weeks in March, alongside a noticeable decrease in decentralized app activity. Although average daily fees on Ethereum chain have stayed above 1 million since May 9th of 2025, fees remain significantly lower compared to Q1 of 2024, as highlighted in the chart. That's one of the reasons why the price is so low, right? That's one of the reasons why the price is so low. So this is what we're working with right here. And again, I want to ask you guys this. How many people think that an Ethereum price of $3,000 is impressive? If you're impressed by an Ethereum price of $3,000, give me a thumbs up. If you're not impressed by an Ethereum price of $3,000, put a clown face in the chat. I'm sorry, somebody threw a clown face in the chat for me. Sorry, Ethereum, you got to do better than that. And the only reason I'm so hard on you is because I'm invested, right? The Sharp Link announcement triggered a surge in Ethereum futures market activity. Ethereum futures open interest hit a new all-time high of 36.1 billion, increasing 3.5 billion in 24 hours. Ethereum open interest has increased by 72% over the past month, reflecting heightened trader activity. So basically what this means is that people are bullish on the future price of Ethereum. Yeah, and shout out to Black Free Thinker. I gotta agree. Black Free Thinker says true. Many of the publicly traded companies are not well managed, to be honest with you. Yeah, and that's a fact. And a lot of the publicly traded companies, this is one of the issues that you run into with a publicly traded company. They're at the behest of their shareholders, right? So you might have a talented CEO that might want to do some new and innovative things that could add value to the company, right? But at times you could be restricted by shareholder voting restrictions. All right. That sometimes does not always work in people's favors. All right. Shout out to everybody watching. I appreciate you guys. If you all haven't smashed the like button yet, please do me a favor. Take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you haven't hit the bell, please take a moment, hit that bell, and please subscribe to the channel. All right. So now here it says Ethereum prices are also up 4.5% for the day. And Martin, a community analyst at CryptoQuant, indicated the likelihood of a leverage-fueled pump for the altcoin. Over the past 30 days, Ethereum prices have gained 48%, with the markets exhibiting 10 leverage-driven pump signals. The majority of these rallies, 8 out of 10, resulted in negative returns, while one rally triggered a short squeeze, driving prices higher, and another displayed neutral price action. And this is, so again, when I talk about Ethereum's poor price performance, it's not opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not an opinion. Like, this is what the math is showing. You know what I'm saying? From a technical perspective, Ethereum's price action on the daily chart posted a descending triangle. Imagine that. A bullish breakout pattern, which creates equal highs and higher lows, converging towards an imminent rally. Well, I hope so. You know what I'm saying? The pattern is bordered by two trend lines, the upper resistance currently around 2,700 and the ascending support line. A bullish breakout above 2,677 targets the pattern's measured move, calculated by adding the triangle's height to the breakout point. This projects a target range of 3,100 to 3,200, aligning with prior resistance levels around 3,100 and 3,400. And again, we got to put it into perspective, right? Ethereum has been this price since Bitcoin was 5 digits. I'm not impressed. It's frustrating. You know what I'm saying? The relative strength index at 68.5% supports this bullish outlook. A RSI near 70 indicates strong momentum, with the indicator resetting after oscillating in the overbought region above 70, suggesting the altcoin could be gearing up for a fresh rally. Anonymous crypto trader Mo_XBT pointed out a sandwich setup for Ethereum. The analyst also believed that a $3,000 retest was imminent and said, "Gotta love the sandwich setup on the daily above 1D 200 EMA." below 1D 200 MA and 300 MA. I've seen this set up many times the last month. It's always led up, and led up to what? Led up to where we are now, which is $2,610. You know what I'm saying? That's great. You know what I'm saying? Now, back to that question about the Ethereum supply crunch or the potential Ethereum supply crunch. Let me ask y'all this. Shout out to my man Vincent Harper. What's good with it, bro? Good to see you. Do we have an Ethereum supply shortage? If we do, give me a thumbs up. If we don't, give me a thumbs down. Now, this is what they're saying right here. This is what they're saying. How many people were aware of this? Ethereum supply on exchanges hits 7-year low. Breakout loading. Now, look at this. Why? We about to look at this too. Ethereum supply on exchanges hits 7-year low. How is the price staying so low if the supply on exchanges is at a 7-year low? Now, imagine supply on the exchanges at a 7-year low. And then what happens if there's an Ethereum treasury trend that begins as this supply is at a 7-year low? If the supply on chain is at a 7-year low, where is all the Ethereum at? Where is it? Where is it all? Who got the Ethereum? Where is it at? Somebody tell us where it is. You see this right here? Ethereum price at 8,000. Pundit predicts parabolic run for Ethereum. Now, here's my question. Based on what? Now, and again, look at this. Ethereum poised for a 5-figure breakout. Volatility is shaking weak hands. I mean, you know what I'm saying? We'll see. We'll see. Right? We'll see. Ethereum has become one of the top performing crypto assets since early April, rallying more than 100% from its cycle low near 1,600 to a recent high above 2,700. This sharp recovery positioned Ethereum as a leader in the broader market's bullish trend, even sparking renewed discussions around a potential alt season. All right. Now, I want to ask you guys this question. How many people have heard about all of the changes that have been made at Ethereum? They laid off a bunch of people. They're redefining their mission and doing all this stuff. So, you know, I don't know if now with these bullish outlooks, it could go either way with them making these major announcements at the time of a potential price rally. It could damage the price, but it could help the price too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Shout out to Black Free Thinker. Black Free Thinker says institutions making money shorting the asset as well and offering ETFs. Right. And what do we know about what BlackRock is trying to do? BlackRock is trying to have the SEC make it where staking is available for their Ethereum ETF. So if BlackRock is trying to make it where staking is available for the Ethereum ETF, and people start putting their money in it as a store of value, what do you think will happen to the price? All this happening while the supply is at a 7-year low on exchanges. You know what I'm saying? However, momentum now appears to be fading. Who would ever have thought? Momentum for Ethereum fading? Who would have ever thought? Now, I want to ask you guys this question, right? Who thinks that XRP will flip Ethereum? Who thinks that will XRP flip Ethereum? Who thinks that XRP will flip Ethereum? Over the past week, Ethereum has struggled to break above key resistance levels, and selling pressure is beginning to mount as global macroeconomic conditions grow increasingly uncertain. All right, so let me know what these macroeconomic conditions are that are becoming uncertain. All right. Despite these headwinds, One key on-chain signal suggests long-term confidence remains strong. Data from Glassnode reveals that Ethereum's supply on centralized exchanges has dropped to its lowest level in 7 years. How is this happening with no positive reflection in the price? Tariffs, yeah. I think that there was just some new developments with Ukraine and Russia that happened that don't look too good, right? Right? Yeah, shout out to Lehman Lucas. That's what they say. That's why it might be number 2. Yeah. I got it. If you guys agree with Black Free Thinker, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. Black Free Thinker says they're making money trading the asset on both sides. That's what's keeping the prices relatively low. Not gonna lie, good for us at the time being. I agree. And again, you can be holding Ethereum and you can stake it. Shout out to Young Nine. Young Nine says Ethereum's been dead since NFTs. I wouldn't necessarily say that. I wouldn't, me personally, right? Because here's my thing. How can we say that it's been dead if the supply on centralized exchanges has dropped to the lowest level in 7 years? That's my question. And then if you look at the ETF inflows, hundreds of millions of dollars for the most part every day, I don't know. I wouldn't go as far as to say it's dead. What do you guys think? If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. Now, shout out to Lehman Lucas. Lehman Lucas said, I just wish we could stack Bitcoin. We can, right? If you guys would agree, we can. Let's stack the Bitcoin. Give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. Yeah, I'm stacking Bitcoin every day. Every day. Anytime I get any cash to the Cash App, any of that, I'll immediately Bitcoin. You know what I'm saying? Immediately Bitcoin. Shout out to Carlton. Carlton said, then XRP will body Bitcoin according to crypto experts. Yeah, okay. You know what I'm saying? XRP is going to go on a crazy rally to $2.75. Oh, man. Right? XRP is going to go on that crazy bull run, and that crazy bull run going to put the emergency brakes on that $2.75. You know what I'm saying? I've actually heard some things, though. I've actually heard some things about XRP. I saw, shout out to the Modern Investor. I saw the Modern Investor's video, and he said that he saw some information that said that XRP could be as high as $50 per token in the next 60 days. Either way, it's good, right? Whatever, right? Shout out to AB Promotions. AB Promotions said, I'm buying Bitcoin tomorrow. Facts. How many people plan on buying some Bitcoin? If you plan on buying some Bitcoin, throw some flames in the chat. If you don't plan on buying some Bitcoin, throw a clown face in the chat. Now take a wild guess who that clown face is for. Right? So now here it says this trend typically interpreted as a sign of reduced selling pressure. And what does reduced selling pressure mean? That means that people are holding on to the asset, right? Indicates that investors may be increasingly moving Ethereum to self-custody wallets, possibly in anticipation of further upside. As Ethereum flirts with critical support levels, this deep reduction in exchange supply could act as a stabilizing force, reinforcing the asset's long-term bullish case amid short-term uncertainty. All right. So again, Ethereum faces key breakout test as supply on exchange plunges. Now, here's my question. How long can the exchange show the prices of Ethereum as it is right now with no adjustment for the low levels that are available? How can this occur? How can this happen? Somebody let me know. Shout out to Carlton. Carlton bought some Satoshis in the chat. Carlton bought some Satoshis in the chat. Carlton bought $20 of Bitcoin today. We can't, bro, slowly but surely, we're going to show MicroStrategies who the boss is. Slowly but surely, We're going to show MicroStrategies who the boss is, who the real boss is, right? We're going to show MicroStrategies who the real boss is. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to AB. AB said the modern investor says $30 XRP is likely. Yeah, I wouldn't disagree. I would not disagree. Hey, I like this. I like this. Shout out to Black Free Thinker. Black Free Thinker says scam with the monolith in the middle. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that, bro. So look at this. Ethereum is currently trading at a critical juncture, consolidating at around 2,500 after a strong rally that began in early April, right? So now I want you guys to remember this and pay attention to this. You know how people always say, you know, whatever coin is at a stage where another coin is at, right? So Solana has been compared to Ethereum, right? You got people that are talking about $1,000 Solana, right? How many people have heard the $1,000 Solana conversations, right? You hear the $1,000 Solana conversation. Oh, Solana is where Ethereum was at. Technically, it's not because it hasn't gotten to $500, right? But sure, let's just act like it was, right? No one is saying that Ethereum is where Bitcoin was before the $10,000 to $20,000 levels, because it is. Bitcoin was floating around between $2,000 and $4,000 before the upside movement to $20,000. If I'm not mistaken, this took place in, I want to say 2017, in the winter of 2017. So we have these aging cycles, right? So it could be said that currently Ethereum is where Bitcoin was, right? If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. That could be said. If people are making the argument Solana is where Ethereum was, it could be argued Ethereum is where Bitcoin was. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says many investors believe this consolidation phase could be the calm before a breakout, potentially pushing Ethereum into new highs and setting the stage for a broader alt season. The recent pullback has been orderly so far, with price action respecting major support zones, and market participants remain cautiously optimistic. Yeah, see, cautiously optimistic. That's an investor term. Despite persistent global tensions, including rising U.S. Treasury yields and continued trade uncertainty between U.S. and China, Ethereum's fundamentals appear to be strengthening. One of the most bullish signals come from top analyst Quentin Francois, who highlighted on-chain data showing that Ethereum supply on centralized exchange has now fallen to its lowest level in 7 years. And again, I don't really understand why this isn't being reflected in the price, but we can't argue with these facts. You know what I'm saying? This development is critical because it signals a deep reduction in potential sell-side pressure. Now, if there's a deep reduction in potential sell-side pressure, what that means is that there's a lower likelihood that people will panic sell and push the price down, right? If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. When fewer coins are available on exchanges, it typically indicates that investors are moving their holdings to long-term cold storage rather than preparing to sell, right? This is like, imagine this, right? If you have your car parked in the garage, right? If you have your car parked in the driveway, it's not likely that you're going to sell it. It's not likely that it's going to change hands very quickly, right? If you have your car parked at an exchange, which would be a used car dealership, or at any car dealership where people are buying and selling cars, it's more likely that you're going to sell your car, right? If you have your gold in a safe, not very likely that you're going to sell your gold. If your gold makes more appearances at gold trading places, right, you're probably looking to sell it. If your house is stable and you're not doing too much, if I look on Zillow, I'm not really going to find your house. If you're looking to sell your house, we're going to see it on Zillow and all these different real estate places, right? So if your asset is not in a sell market or in a marketplace, in most cases, there's going to be less sell side pressure, right? If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. Shout out to my brother's Keeper and shout out to Tark. What's good with y'all? Good to see both of y'all. Shout out to Tark. Tark said, Rob, you should get someone to make a hip-hop version of Tales from the Crypt theme music for this series. Just saying. Yeah, I should. I should. Right? Maybe I will at some point. Right? At some point. So now here it says, in the past, such shifts have often preceded major price surges. Why does that work that way? Somebody explain this to me. If people are taking the cryptocurrency off of the exchanges, why is that an indicator that price surges could increase? Would that possibly be because there's less demand? Or would that possibly be because there's less supply? And if there's less supply, then that means that it's becoming more scarce. Scarcity is usually a driver for price in which direction, up or down. My man KO Kid Fit, what's good with it, bro? Shout out to Tarek enforcing the likes. Yo, throw some like enforcers in the chat. Shout out to AB Promotions. AB Promotions says, my car is in the garage. We're going to say it like they say it in the UK. My car is in the garage. We're going to say it like they say it in the UK. My car is in the garage, right? The aluminium and all that. If demand increases while supply remains limited, the market could face a supply shock, fueling a rapid move to the upside. This is literally exactly what I just said. And it's not like I'm not a genius or anything. This is just literal basic math. You know what I'm saying? Literal basic math. That's it. If you understand basic math, if you understand, you know what I'm saying, a two-dimensional graph with an XY axis, you good. You can figure this stuff out. You know what I'm saying? My man Alpha Male Pimp Network is in the building. Shout out to you, bro, for re-upping your membership, man. Definitely appreciate you. Make sure y'all show Alpha Male Pimp Network some love. Throw some flames, some radiation emoji, and some ducks in the chat for my man Alpha Male Pimp Network for standing on business. I definitely appreciate you, bro.
I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business.
Shout out to you, bro. Shout out to all the members, man. Make sure y'all show the members some love. Tarek said he wants some hip hop music, right? Hey, them beats cost. Them beats cost. You know what I'm saying? What 50 Cent say? If it's hot and you ain't got to drop, you're not like me. You know what I'm saying? The record companies look at if you got to drop or not. They look at if you got to drop or not. They look at your chain. You know what I'm saying? You gotta show people that you generating income before people be willing to give you income. You know what I'm saying? Am I lying? You know what I'm saying? Am I lying? Let me know. Somebody let me know if I'm lying or not. You know what I'm saying? You got to show. Oh, you bought that Bentley? You know what I'm saying? Oh, you got that watch? Oh, you got that chain? Okay. All right. That's what's good. You might be the investment. You might be the move. You know what I'm saying? If you making money, we can make money off you. That's how they look at it. You know what I'm saying? Now you see, look at this headline down here, just from 2 days ago. Solana reclaims key support after sweeping lows. Early signs of reversal. How many people was able to catch some Solana on the downside? If you caught some Solana on the downside, give me a thumbs up. If you did not, give me a thumbs down. The Solana was looking nice. You know what I'm saying? It was in the 150s. Hopefully people was able to get a little bit. You know what I'm saying? This setup has led analysts and traders to watch Ethereum closely as it continues to form a base just below key resistance around 2,700. A confirmed breakout above this level, paired with the shrinking supply on exchanges, could trigger aggressive buying and potentially kick off a new phase of bullish momentum. I mean, it's about time, you know what I'm saying? With confidence building and long-term fundamentals improving, Ethereum's current consolidation might just be the final pause before a major leg higher. All right, pause. Right? All right. So Ethereum holds crucial support amid market pullback. Now, let me ask you guys this question. Shout out to my man Aristopat. What's good with it, bro? I want you guys to pay attention, right? We're going to compare assets real quick. Right? Shout out to Carlton. We about to do 100 assets. Basically, when you talk about market dominance, right? When you talk about cryptocurrency market dominance, The conversation is 100 assets versus Bitcoin. Forget 100 men versus gorilla. We already know the gorilla got that easy, right? 100 assets versus Bitcoin. Who winning? Well, I mean, clearly Bitcoin, right? So my thing is, if these are bullish signals for Ethereum and Ethereum is still sitting where it's at, which is lower than it has been, what would we say about Ethereum? What would we say about Bitcoin while Bitcoin forms a resistance level at an all-time high? You know what I'm saying? And I'm not mad at that. Shout out to my brother's keeper. My brother's keeper said, I'm going to hit you up on Discord. I want to see how we can make ourselves some quick coin via a referral program. This one comes with residual income. Yo, I'm down. I'm down. That's what's good. Hit the Discord. Yo, speaking of the Discord, for anybody that's not a part of the Discord, please take a moment and join the Discord. The link should be pinned in the chat. If the link doesn't work, please let us know in the chat, and we will give you a new refreshed link that should work. All right. So now here it says Ethereum holds crucial support amid market pullback. All right. Now, let me ask you guys this question. How many people are holding Ethereum? If you're holding Ethereum, give me a thumbs up in the chat. If you're not holding Ethereum, give me a thumbs down. Do you plan to sell your Ethereum is my question. If you do, let me know. If you don't, also let me know. Look, I'm not trying to be fine. We're about to start being shady. We're gonna start. We're gonna start trading amongst ourselves. We're gonna do the same thing that these people do. We're gonna keep the trade activity off of exchanges so that it doesn't affect the price. So if there's cryptocurrency, right? That I have, right? You just let me know what cryptocurrency you want to swap your Ethereum for, and we can set it up. We can set it up. We'll do small transactions first to establish trust. You know what I'm saying? And then we'll finish it off. You know what I'm saying? Then we'll finish it off. So let me know. All right. So now here it says Ethereum is currently trading around $2,484, showing signs of consolidation after several attempts to break through the 2,700 resistance zone. On the 4-hour chart, price action reveals a gradual decline from recent highs, with lower highs forming and Ethereum slipping below the 34 EMA, which is $2,557. This breakdown below the short-term moving averages suggests weakening momentum, while the price now hovers at just above the 100 SMA, which is 2,559. A level that has acted as dynamic support in previous retracements, which means that we shouldn't, in theory, we shouldn't see levels under normal circumstances if all variables remain the same, which in most cases they're not because the market is constantly moving. We shouldn't really be seeing too much activity below $2,500. You know what I'm saying? Volume has decreased slightly during this pullback, indicating that the recent selling may lack strong conviction. However, if Ethereum fails to reclaim $2,550 in the next few sessions, bearish momentum could accelerate towards the 200 SMA at approximately $2,358. So now we really shouldn't see too much lower than 2,500, right? But if we see 2,300, what should we do? Shout out to Young 9. I feel it, bro. Facts. Me too. I'm holding Ethereum. I'm not selling any of my crypto. Now, like I said, I'm willing to swap to mask. I'm willing to swap, right? Like the elites do it, to mask price movement on exchanges, right? But I'm not selling no crypto. We're not doing that. All right. On the bullish side, this consolidation above 2,450 continues to show resilience, especially given the macroeconomic backdrop and market-wide volatility. If Ethereum can hold this range and reclaim the 34 EMA with strong volume, it could stage a rebound and retest the 2,650 to 2,700 zone, a critical level for a breakout. All right. So now let me ask you guys this question. Is Ethereum going to break out? Or are we going to just continue to see the same kind of dead The same kind of dead price movement. All right. Some people are saying that we're going to see an $8,000 Ethereum. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. All right. We're going to talk about XRP's profitability. All right. We are also going to talk about XRP treasuries. Shout out to John Guillory. John Guillory put this link in the Discord, I believe, about the XRP treasury. All right. But institutions are now buying XRP to create XRP treasuries. Okay. Here's evidence. Okay. Let me know if you guys can see that. My computer has frozen like Ethereum's price. You know what I'm saying? Let me know if you guys can see that that article there. You guys can see. If you guys can see that, give me a thumbs up. If you can't, give me a thumbs down. Webis International reveals $300 million XRP treasury bid to power borderless payments. All right. Pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. Now, shout out to AB Promotions. AB Promotions had mentioned earlier that Modern Investor had mentioned something about some $30 XRP. If that's the case, that would be nice. And I'll tell you what, moves like this from companies are what will power that $30 XRP, if that is something that shall come to pass, right? Webis CEO said XRP-based payments would remove currency conversion friction for international trips and driver payouts on one of the firm's recent partnerships. All right. So again, people are adopting cryptocurrency. These companies are adopting cryptocurrencies. There's a strong resistance to future adaptation, right? I don't know why, but the reality of things is that the world is trending in this direction, whether people like it or not. Webis International revealed a plan on May 29th to raise up to $300 million through non-equity financing and deploy the capital into an XRP reserve that will support the company's global chauffeur services payment network. Okay. The Chinese AI-powered mobility firm stated that it may utilize existing cash, commercial bank loans, shareholder guarantees, and institutional credit lines to assemble the reserve without issuing new shares. CEO Nan Zheng told investors the strategy seeks to preserve equity value while enabling instant cross-border settlements, on-chain booking records, and a Web3 loyalty program. I want to ask you guys this. Yeah, shout out to AB Promotions. Yeah, GameStop definitely has FOMO right now, and their Bitcoin purchases are not helping them. I wish that I could say buying Bitcoin has a positive effect on everybody. Yeah, it doesn't. It didn't help GameStop. You know what I'm saying? It didn't help GameStop. Shout out to my man Lunch. What's good with it, bro? It did not help GameStop. GameStop bought Bitcoin and it's been going down, baby. Right? It's been going down. Broad initiatives. The proposed reserve represents the first of 3 initiatives financed by the package. Now, I want to ask you guys this question. Which cryptocurrency is being adopted for reserves of companies the fastest? Let me know. Which cryptocurrency are companies generating revenue to buy in the largest amounts? If we compared all the cryptocurrencies that could be possibly used for reserve assets, which cryptocurrency is most popular for a reserve asset? Shout out to Carlton. Carlton said Bitcoin. If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. Okay, we see this, right? Bitcoin. If this is the case of your investment portfolio, what percentage in Bitcoin should you have? You know, BlackRock, they had recommended 2% a couple years ago, right? I've seen videos, new videos are coming out with new Bitcoin numbers. Lots of videos coming out saying how many people will never own 0.21 Bitcoin. A lot of people will never own a tenth of a Bitcoin. Right? A lot of people will never own 0.01 Bitcoin. If you ask me, I don't necessarily think that you should allocate a particular percentage of your portfolio to Bitcoin. I think that the idea should be you need to figure out the highest amount that people will never own and make that your goal and try to get to that goal and then pass that goal. I don't think that you should base it on percentage of portfolio. If your portfolio is only $1, you know what I'm saying, you're only going to allocate 2 cents to Bitcoin, right? So I don't necessarily know if you're dealing with a finite asset, I don't know if percentage allocation is necessarily the best way to gain value. If you're dealing with a finite asset, the best way to deal with it is to make it where you're one of the only people that has a significant life-changing amount. You know what I'm saying? You want to, if you ask me, if you're dealing with a finite asset, you want to scale up. So if you're a 10%er, you already have more Bitcoin, right, than most of the world will ever own. Buy more. If you have 0.21 Bitcoin, you have more Bitcoin than most people, including the 10%ers, have. If you're a 10%er, try to get to 0.21. If you're a 21%er, try to get to a full Bitcoin. If you're a full Bitcoiner, try to get more Bitcoin. If you got more Bitcoin, try to beat MicroStrategies. If you are beating MicroStrategies, if you're BlackRock, try to beat the Satoshi wallet. If you've beaten the Satoshi wallet, I mean, that's it. You know what I'm saying? That they will write about you as like a Thanos / apocalypse figure in the future. You will ascend humanity if you're able to beat the Satoshi wallet. You know what I'm saying? If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. So if you ask me, scaling in that direction, that should be the goal. Not necessary. 2% as an allocation, that probably is not a bad idea for those people like BlackRock who deal with large portfolios. But if you're not somebody that has large portfolio, you want to hit the biggest bang for the buck because you don't really have a lot of room for error. You don't have a lot. You also don't have a lot of room for, I'm going to let this grow 500 years. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You want to try to capitalize on that 60% APY. You know what I mean? If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. All right. So now here it says the others include the development of a proprietary blockchain infrastructure and the acceleration of overseas expansion. Management did not specify a timeline for closing facilities or purchasing XRP. Still, it emphasized that non-equity instruments give Webis latitude to adjust the reserve size according to market condition. So my thing is, if they're actually using this XRP, I don't really know how they can call it a reserve. I mean, to me, what it sounds like is we just have stored liquidity in XRP, not necessarily a reserve. When I'm thinking of a reserve, I'm thinking of large volume buy and hold, not large volume buy and use, right? Webis indicated that it will couple the reserve with in-house wallets that process passenger fares and immediate driver refunds, a model it says aligns with its company's vision of quote-unquote borderless travel. As part of the same announcement, Webis renewed a multi-year partnership with Tongqing Travel Holdings, one of China's largest online travel agencies. The deal extends WeTour X Tongqing inner-city charter lines across China, pairing Tongqing's $240 million annual paying users with Webis vehicle network. Okay. Zing said the domestic alliance supplies data and route density, while XRP-based payments would remove currency conversion friction for international trips and driver payouts. Company executives described the financing plan as a non-binding until definitive agreements are signed and due diligence hurdles have cleared. XRP treasury momentum. All right. Webus's disclosure arrived one day after clean energy group Vivo Power International said it had secured commitments for a $121 million private placement to build its own XRP treasury. Now, I want to say this, right? Shout out to Karen. What's good with it, Karen? I want to say this. How we were talking about the potential of $30 XRP. This $30 XRP idea is only based on ETF approval. Right? If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. This idea of $30 XRP, it's only based on ETF approval. It's not really taking anything else into consideration. If these ETFs get approved and there becomes a XRP treasury momentum, what will that do to the price? Somebody let me know what that'll do to the price. Vivo Power will sell 20 million ordinary shares to institutional digital asset investors and strategic partners led by Saudi investor Prince Abdul Aziz bin Turk Al Saud. Okay. The company plans to allocate the proceeds to XRP accumulation, infrastructure for the XRP ledger, and debt reduction. Although several public companies hold Bitcoin, treasuries dominated in XRP remain uncommon. Both Webus and Vivo Power cited XRP's low fee settlement layer and integration with the XRP ledger as motivation. Now, what do you guys think? This is interesting. Chinese link firm raises $300 million from private investors to buy Trump meme coin. Why would you do it? Why would you do it? You know what I'm saying? Who would do it? I don't know. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why anybody would do it, but China's doing it. You know what I'm saying? Interesting. Now, XRP's profitability surges 90%, outpacing Ethereum, Chainlink, and others. What y'all think about that? How come this isn't reflecting in the price, ladies and gentlemen? How come this isn't reflecting in the price? This should reflect in the price. XRP going on a major bull rally. You know what I'm saying? Then it says, skirt. We stopping at $2.60. How come this doesn't reflect in the price? Somebody let me know. Somebody let me know. XRP's on-chain profitability suggests investor confidence despite recent price dip and SEC case developments. Okay. SEC case, thought that was over. More than 90% of XRP supply is currently profitable, even though the token's price has remained relatively flat for the past 3 months. All right. So again, when I make these comments about XRP and I make these comments about Ethereum, I mean, it's true. You know what I'm saying? I'm not making these comments because, I have a particular alliance with any of these cryptocurrencies. I got an alliance with trying to make myself a billionaire. And so when the team's not doing well, you know what I'm saying? We do what they do when the team's not doing well. We start looking at and breaking down problems, talking about potential restructuring and trades, right? Right? Ain't that what we do? Let me know if that's what we do. Data from on-chain analytics firm Sentiment reveals that most of XRP circulating supply was acquired at lower price points than at its current market value. This level of profitability places XRP ahead of several major altcoins. Okay. For comparison, only 71.5% of Ethereum, 77.9% of Dogecoin, 71% of Cardano, and 80.5% of Chainlink holdings are in profit. All right. However, XRP trails only Bitcoin, which leads with 98.4% of circulating supply in the green. That is wild, man. Why people are resistant to holding their value in Bitcoin is beyond me. I mean, it's the people that deny Bitcoin are the people that say Michael Jordan sucked at basketball. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Carlton. Yeah, that's what we do. That's what we do. You know what I'm saying? That's what we do. We have our board meetings, right? Analysts at Sentiment explain that this profitability metric is often used to assess investor sentiment. All right. Now, what does this say about investor sentiment in regards to XRP and Bitcoin? What does this say? Right? Says that most investors, for the most part, are satisfied with their Bitcoin. Most investors, for the most part, are satisfied with their XRP, and it's not going anywhere. They're not going to be part of the flush out gang. Okay? They're not going to be part of the toilet bowl crew. They're going to hold on to their asset until their asset creates massive amounts of value and generational wealth, and then they're going to enjoy life, and then they're going to put it in poor people's faces. They're going to drive past you on the side of the road while you're trying to put a spare tire on your car in a nice air-conditioned premium vehicle. That's what's going to happen. Right? If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. And somebody's going to say, those rich people should have some humility. And us rich people are going to say, you broke people should have you some Satoshis. And then we're going to keep on pushing in our nice air-conditioned car while we watch you lose half of your body weight in sweat on the side of the road, trying to use that jack to pop that donut onto your car. Right? That's what's going to happen. Okay? So now here it says analysts at Sentiment explained that this profitability metric is often used to assess investor sentiment. According to them, a higher percentage of profitable wallets can lead to near-term sell pressure as holders take profit. But when most investors are at a loss, markets often show signs of fear or undervaluation, which can attract new buyers and long-term capital. Still, despite a recent 6% dip in XRP's price this week, the strong on-chain profitability could indicate a foundation for a potential rebound. All right. So now, again, success signals, right? Why XRP is primed for success. Why is XRP primed for success? Somebody let me know. Shout out to my man DSB. What's good with it, bro? Good to see you, bro. Welcome to the stream. Make sure you guys show my man DSB some love. Throw some flames, some radiation emoji, and some ducks in the chat for my man DSB for standing on business. Definitely appreciate you, bro, for 7 months.
I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business.
Ha! My man said, do y'all like the profile picture? Love it. Look at the profile picture. Look at the profile picture. Oh, yeah. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely love it. You know what I'm saying? Hey. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to just say it like this. Instead of buying slaves, should have been buying Bitcoin. Right? Should have been buying Bitcoin. Whoops. Right? Whoops. That well. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to AB Promotions. AB Promotions said, I'm going to be saying, hide the money, y'all. There's poor people around. Yeah. Had the money.
Had the money, y'all. There's poor people around.
I'm rich, bitch.
That's exactly what we're going to say. I can't help you. You know what I'm saying? I can't help you. I got to get to the airport to go on a world tour You know what I'm saying? Because I'm rich and I need stuff to do with my time. And what I don't want to do with my time is help you with your tire. We're going to let the tow truck company make that money. Goodbye. Right? We're going to let the tow truck company make that money. We out. Goodbye. Bye-bye. Market analysts suggest developments beyond price charts could catalyze XRP's next growth phase. Question: reserve assets. What are your price predictions for the next 5 years? What price will XRP be in 2030? What price will Bitcoin be in 2030? What price will Solana be in 2030? What price will Ethereum be in 2030? And will there be any other cryptocurrency that will rise to the challenge of being a reserve asset? Let me know what you guys think. Ripple's drawn out case with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission has essentially resolved, lifting a significant overhang from the token. However, progress on that front recently slowed because Judge Annalisa Torres denied a joint motion due to procedural issues. Nevertheless, the broader market sentiment on XRP remains largely positive because the token has drawn notable attention. Okay? For context, NASDAQ-listed Vivo Power has revealed plans to establish a $121 million XRP-backed treasury. This development marks a first for a U.S.-listed public company and reinforces belief in XRP. In addition, the XRP ledger is experiencing rapid expansion within its ecosystem, as evidenced by its adoption by major institutions. Now, question: XRP is expected to go public, right? How many people plan to buy shares of XRP stock when XRP goes public? Somebody let me know if you plan on doing that. I plan on doing that. I've started investing in BlackRock. I told you I'm all the way on the dark side. All the way on the dark side. We giving money to BlackRock, and I don't mean by selling my Bitcoin. We're giving them the worthless fiat, right? That's what Cobra Commander said when he was talking about the Cobra currency, right? The worthless fiat that your government prints, right? That's what Cobra Commander said in 1986, right? Ain't that what Cobra Commander said in 1986? And your parents told you that G.I. Joe is fiction? I just went on YouTube. Shout out to my man TD Media Group. Shout out to my man TD Media Group. Right? Didn't Cobra Commander say this? You know what I'm saying? Didn't Cobra Commander say this in 1986? Is my question. Now, who would have thought, right? Who would have thought? We're gonna talk about your boy Cobra Commander because you know he got nothing but morons on the payroll, right? He got nothing but morons on the payroll.
Morons! I have morons on my payroll!
And he surrounds himself with idiots.
Idiots! I'm surrounded by incompetent idiots!
He was able to predict this one, right? Not bad. Not bad. Now, you know, me personally, you know, I wouldn't call the Crimson Twins and Destro and the Baroness idiots. I wouldn't say that. You know what I'm saying? I would say that's a pretty capable bunch, but you know, whatever, right? I don't know what the hell going on here. Hold on. Yeah, we got error 404. StreamYard's doing some funny stuff. It's not letting me share my screen. All right, here we go. Finally. Real quick, y'all, if y'all haven't smashed that like button yet, do me a favor. Take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell, please take a moment and hit that bell and share the stream to your social media. Now, look, right? This is what happened in 1986.
Attention citizens, I am Cobra Commander. Due to the financial irresponsibility for your children, take all your valuables to the nearest branch to extensive enterprises.
So now you see what Cobra Commander then was telling you? Give us your assets. He said, take all your valuables to extensive enterprises so that you can get you some Cobra currency and eat, because your currency has been devalued. It's not worth anything. So Cobra Commander is telling you, get the assets. Your parents told you to turn G.I. Joe off.
To extensive enterprises.
See that? Take your assets over there.
For your children, take all your valuables to the nearest branch to extensive enterprises. All goods will be exchanged for Cobra currency.
All right, now they did a little, editing, right? They did a little editing work on that, right? They did a little editing work on that to avoid the copyright. We're gonna have to do the copyright anyway. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have to do the copyright anyway. So we're gonna watch the original, right? We're going to watch the original. And the reason why we're gonna watch the original is because we're not gonna have people watching the replay saying, oh, well, this is just doctored. Nah, it's not doctored. You know what I'm saying? This is what your parents told you not to watch. Now, listen, I guarantee you that people whose parents were millionaires did not tell them to turn this off, right? But people's parents who are not millionaires told them turn this off. You know what I'm saying? Now what? Now let's talk about it, right? Why is that? Destro knew. Look, if only Destro knew, all you got to do is say tariff, and this would happen, right? If Destro only knew all that money that they spent in making this machine, all you got to do is say tariff, and this exact same thing would happen. You know what I'm saying? You guys to understand. Now, you see, this is back in what, the 1980s. If this exact same cartoon would come out today, right? If this exact same cartoon would come out today, the Karenized version of America, right? The Karenized version of America would say, because Lady J and Scarlet and Roadblock are on G.I. Joe, it's woke. That's what they would say, because America has become Karenized. Karenization is synonymous with Americanization. If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. And if you disagree, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Fragile America. Fragile, thin, onion paper skinned America would cry woke at the thought of even a Lady J or a Scarlet. Absolutely about Roadblock. But this is the 1980s. So my question is, what's changed? Well, what changed is that if you heard this as a kid and you remember it, and in 2008 you saw the bank bailouts, and you say, how can I avoid this in the future so that my wealth doesn't crash? And you read the Bitcoin white paper, and the Bitcoin white paper sounds like it solves the problem that Cobra's addressing. You say, hey, they might be onto something. And then $110,000 later, you'd be happy about it, right? If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. Ooh, that boy Cobra Commander dropping jewels, ain't he? Hey, that boy Cobra Commander dropping jewels? Let me ask you this question. If what Cobra Commander is saying is not true, why are companies and countries replacing their quote-unquote green currency with something else? Let's deal with that. Let's handle that for a quick second. Let's handle that particular issue right there. You see, look, see where it say Department of the Treasury? Hey, Carlton, that whole mob is the lift trying to get our Bitcoin, bro. That's why you got to ride around with the size of Lil Bow Wow. Shout out to Detroit 313. Yeah, the government has deceived you. If you guys agree with Detroit 313, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. Now, again, this is from the 80s. Hey, did Hasbro listen? Did Hasbro write? Is Satoshi really Hasbro? Did Hasbro write the Bitcoin white paper or not? Yeah. Shout out to Black Free Thinker. Black Free Thinker said the best way to deliver a covert message to the youth is through the mouth of the bad guy. And people think that the idea of embrace villainy is just a wisecrack. Right? They think that it's just something funny to say. Nah. Embrace villainy is a religion. You got to do it. If you own Bitcoin, you just got to sit back and wait for the value to fall into your hands. Look, shout out to AB Promotions. AB Promotions said, yo, the gym they used to put in these old cartoons is wild. Bro, that's a fact. If y'all agree with AB, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. I'm telling you, bro, that's a fact. You know what I'm saying? You guys to understand. Listen, understand this. If the Cobra currency was so good, Cobra would keep the currency. Right? Cobra would keep the currency. Right? But Cobra wants to give you the currency for your valuables. This is why you hold your assets. Shout out to Rain King. What's good with it, bro? Right? Yeah, exactly. Shout out to AB. AB said y'all saw the smartwatch. Right. Look at the smartwatch. Right? Look at the smartwatch. See? Look. See that? Listen, man, this is what I'm shout out to Carlton, right? Extensive enterprises out here moving like BlackRock. Right? Extensive enterprises is out here moving like BlackRock. Now, this should tell you, this should be a lesson to you, right? This should be an indicator to you. If somebody wants your assets, they want your assets because their assets are worth more than they're willing to give you for them. Which is why your assets should remain stationary. Right? Don't sell your asset. Right? If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. This is the whole idea behind holding. This is the whole idea behind holding. Okay? And here we go. Here we go with I don't know what's going on with StreamYards, but here we go with StreamYards. Shout out to Detroit 313. Detroit 313 said Cobra currency makes greater than digital currency. Makes sense. Right. You know what I'm saying? And again, it's wild the stuff that they put in the cartoons. You would never see that type. Like, the society is completely done. You know what I'm saying? Society is completely done. This is the reason why. And if you're against the current state of society, yes, you appear to be a villain. You appear to be a villain. You know what I'm saying? I literally have no idea what's going on with StreamYards. It's all good though. It's all good though. We're gonna do it like this. We're gonna do it like this real quick. Shout out to y'all. If y'all haven't smashed that like button yet, do me a favor. Take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell, please take a moment and hit the bell. Yeah, this is wild. It's not even letting me change tabs. The hell? Are you guys, if you guys can hear me, give me a thumbs up. If you guys can't hear me, give me a thumbs down. Yo, they made me force restart. All right. They made me force restart the computer. And it completely wiped all of the pages that I had for the stream. Ain't that great? Ain't that great? Tell me how great that is. like seriously? You know what I'm saying? That's ridiculous, man. So, yo, check this out. We're going to end it right here, right? But we're going to get right back to it tomorrow. All right? We're going to get right back to it tomorrow. I'm going to set up another stream, and I'm going to try to do it in the morning. We'll see. I'm going to try to do it in the morning. You know what I'm saying? Try not to wait this late. We'll see. I really feel like being up all day. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we're gonna start where we left off with talking about the collapsing quote unquote worthless currency, right? And we're gonna ask the question about the valuables. Why would I trade valuables for something that I can't use? Right? Which is the whole idea of this is why you need to save your valuables. This is why it's important. Like, your valuables are important. And one of your valuables is your Bitcoin. One of your valuables is your XRP. One of your valuables is your Ethereum. These are things that are extremely important. You know what I'm saying? And it's not the best idea, right? It's not the best idea to just sell these things. I'm gonna just, as soon as I can make just a tiny little bit of money, I'm gonna sell it. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? You know what I'm saying? So I think, where were we at? We were talking about XRP outpacing Ethereum, right? If you guys would agree, that's where we were. Give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, that's not where we were. Give me a thumbs down. I think that's where we were, right? So we're gonna finish this up. Let me see. Hopefully, yeah. Okay, there we go. There we go. Chris says Bitcoin is not valuable. It's only valuable through Tether. Once Tether gets an audit, it will fail unless Ripple buys/replaces Tether. Can I ask you a question? Why then is Tether accumulating so much Bitcoin? Why is Tether trading their own product, which is a stable coin, for Bitcoin? Can you explain? Can you explain that? This is what I would like you to explain for me. Now, and again, as far as the ISO coins go, why are the ISO coin companies investing in Bitcoin? And here's another question. Why do you assume that we don't invest in ISO coins? That's the question for you. You know what I'm saying? Now, first, I need you to explain this. Let me ask you this question. Do you think Tether or do you think XRP, do you think any of those companies would hire you with that kind of advice? Or do you think that that kind of advice only has its place in YouTube comment sections? That's what I'm just curious. I just want to know. You know what I'm saying? Tether drops 459 million on Bitcoin to launch a new treasury firm. Look at that. Look at this little guy here hugging treasure, standing on Bitcoin. Tether is just doing what Michael tells them. Michael who? Michael Saylor? If that's the case, how long has Michael Saylor been telling them to buy Bitcoin? Because they've been buying Bitcoin since they started their stablecoin company. So here's my question. Let's just say you started working as the chief strategist for Tether tomorrow. How much are they going to pay you? How much are they going to pay you? How much is your comments that you've contributed to us? How much is that worth? Is my question. Is it worth $459 million? Because the reason why I'm asking is because if it's not worth $459 million, right? Let me ask you this question. Cardano is an ISO coin, correct? Cardano is an ISO coin, right? Why is Cardano developing liquid Bitcoin staking protocols in addition to staking their own ADA token on chain? That's the question. Do you remember when Bitcoin fell from $20,000 to $4,000? Do you remember that? I need you to tell me what happened after Bitcoin fell from $20,000 to $4,000. Tell me what happened. Explain to the chat what happened after Bitcoin fell from $20,000 to $4,000. We need a personal testimony about that from you. Where is it at today? Where is it at today? Do me a favor. Give us in percentage the increase in price of 6% to the current spot price. Oh man, this is a guy that you know what I'm saying, Tether is gonna hire him as the chief strategist. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says, for context, NASDAQ listed Vivo Power has revealed plans to establish a $121 million XRP-backed treasury. This development marks a first for U.S. listed public company and reinforces the belief in XRP. In addition, the XRP ledger is experiencing rapid expansion within its ecosystem, as evidenced by its adoption by major institutions. All right. This month, the Dubai Land Department tapped the blockchain network to power a real estate tokenization project. Now, that takes us down the rabbit hole of real world assets. Right? Here's my question. How much venture capital is flowing into real world asset projects? Companies like Ondo. Shout out to AB Promotions. AB Promotions says, I'm not trading my Bitcoin for Cobra dollars. Right. Yeah. Now, he said that Bitcoin is going to fall down to $50,000. I guess if most of us hadn't bought at, you know, 1,500, 4,000 or 20,000, right, we wouldn't care. Right? So yeah, man, that's it. We're going to re-up tomorrow. All right? We're going to re-up tomorrow. So let me shout out everybody that's in the comment section, and shout out to Churches, man. Shout out to Churches Chicken. You know what I'm saying? You should come back. You should come back with a Coke and fries next time. All right. Shout out to my man Hurricane. Definitely appreciate you, bro. Shout out to Black Free Thinker. Definitely appreciate you, bro. Shout out to my man Carlton. Definitely appreciate you. Shout out to Alpha Male Pimp Network. Definitely appreciate you. And shout out to We Next DSB. Shout out to you. Definitely appreciate you, bro. And as always, ladies and gentlemen,
Baby,
my dues affiliated to this paper. I need freedom for my family line. Draw my life design up like fine art. I'm jumping off just an unfamiliar coordinate. Topped off the porch like I can touch the sky. Red is not one trillion. The ism talk the water out your faucet. Look at me flossing. I'm so wavy, I could change the tide. My intuition sense the hatred in your ways. You imitated, forging lines, claim meaning means that's just to justify. Yeah, right. West side, born maritime. Creole baby, my bloodline. My lungs clouded, my thoughts crowded. Say all I see is these dollar signs. Finna make a play and that sound delay. On mamas, I testify. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Game recognized game. I'm from the Bay, okay, I'm versatile and my slang is different. I'm lane switching with the same people that I came up in this thing with. My head swivel, I'm homebound. Got a target back on my backside. Took a cat peeling with the cast iron. Better run for it, run before I catch you. Look at that ball and block it. Trying to stop my blessing. Gamble with your life. Don't bet it, don't bet it. They can't stop my blessing. You do best not to test it. Yeah, you right. Real all in my blood supply. To get ball up top finna make a play. I catch the lob like I'm Jalen, baby. No co-signing, no co-pilot. They pen pals, my flow designer. My brain signal out of range with it. My palm mission, it's a dollar sign. If I say it twice, then I meant it right.
My brain signal out of range with it. My palm mission, it's a dollar sign. You know, co-signing, no co-pilot. They pen pals, my flow designer. My brain signal out of range with it. My palm mission, it's a dollar sign.
Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds.